Hi, everyone. Since I'm 9 years old, I've been taking pictures of literally everything through the years, and I went from discovering and photographing my own world to commercial photography, to weddings, and then I decided to explore other parts of the world and other countries just with my camera and with a lot of passion. And by looking at all of these photographs, I cannot help but notice how different they have been through the years. And these different moments in time and space, it raised a question in my head. What am I trying to say behind my images? And well, my passion for photography has taken me to multiple places like Bolivia, Burkina Faso, Egypt, India, Cambodia, Thailand, and all across Europe. And I have worked for agencies including the United Nations for refugees, the World Food Programme, the Red Cross movement, and they allow me to immerse in communities ranging from the refugees from the war of Mali and Syria to victims of child exploitation in gold mines in Burkina Faso. But for the last 3 years, I've been doing something that's a little bit unusual of me. I've been working in 2 completely different projects at the same time, both of them ending in 2 different books. One of them is a really positive, colorful portrait book about people from Edinburgh. And on the other hand, we have Living in Solitude, which is a dark, black and white book about underage prostitution in a tiny island in South Bangladesh. And these are the 2 reportages I would like to tell to you today. So this one is Faces of Edinburgh, and it's a very personal journey. And I did it in Edinburgh, where I now consider my home. And I documented the life of people that surrounded me. And just bar managers, helicopter engineer, a pirate, a merman, shop owner, that he's here today, the director of the National Gallery, and just some people that inspire me. And in general, people that I saw every day on the street, and then I never talked to. That's where I came up with this book, just to inspire other people by people that inspire me somehow, in one way or another. And this book has been just an excuse to meet interesting and inspiring people and to make a lot of friends. Like, for example, David. He is now one of my best friends, but when I met him, it was 8 years ago when I arrived to Edinburgh, and he helped me a lot. He was the first person that I talked in Edinburgh. And I talked to him one morning, he explained me things that you need to know when you arrive to a country. I have no idea. I didn't speak English, he's Spanish, and he helped me a lot. For me, he was a very important piece of my puzzle. For him, I was just someone that I talked to him. There was nothing else. So then 7 years later, when I came to talk to him, and I asked him to take the portrait, and I explained him the story, he couldn't believe it. But he was really happy, and we took the portrait. He's a fantastic street artist, and since then, we have been really, really good friends. And what to say about Sina? I love Sina. Sina is a transgender girl, and I met her on the street. She looked very interesting. She was wearing like it is just now, and I asked her if she wanted to be part of the book, and she agreed. So then we went to her flat, and I took the portrait of her. I listened to her story. She explained me her life a little bit more in detail, and I found her really interesting and really inspiring. And she inspires me because she's unique, because she's Sina, the psychedelic unicorn, and I think her story must be explained to encourage other people in her situation. And that's what I offer her to do a book, and so far we're working on this book for 8 months, and it will take us at least 8 more years. We have to go through all the transition and everything. And this is an amazing journey, which I am learning a lot from. So in general, Faces of Edinburgh has been a really interesting project in a personal level. I met a lot of new people, and most of them will remain in my life forever. And this could have not been possible without the excuse of photography. And on the other hand, we have Living in Solitude, which is a reportage I did in South Bangladesh, in a tiny island called Bani Shanta. It's about underage prostitution. This is the island. And when I work in a reportage like Living in Solitude, everything changes. All the protocol that you may have on your day-to-day is completely different. And on Faces of Edinburgh, I documented the people that surrounded my life. But to do these reportages, I need hours of flights, of road and boat, and to arrive to an island where most likely I'm not welcome. And usually the first day, I don't even take pictures. I just walk around with my camera just to meet people and talking to them, and I just try to understand the situation as better as I can. And every trip, every time that I go there, they get me more and more into their lives. And they explain me their stories on how they were trafficked to the island, how difficult it is for them, and how they live. And then is when I start working on how to explain the right story, empowering these girls. And these girls share their experience with me, and it is not the kind of experience you can find in Faces of Edinburgh, because everyone from Faces of Edinburgh are so proud of their own life. These girls are so proud of themselves, but not of how their life have been. Even though they share their story with me, because they want me to share it with the world. Because I believe showing these pictures is the right direction to do steps toward changing their injustices. And living in solitude has been an experience of crucial personal and professional development, and I believe I have a moral and social obligation to amplify the voices of those who are often unseen by the world and who suffer social exclusion, like Shanta. Shanta is 9 years old, and she's one of the many girls who are born in Banishanta Island after her mom fell pregnant from an encounter with a customer from unprotected sex. And girls born under these conditions are forced to follow the path of sex slavery, and boys most likely are going to be drug dealers. And Shanta, most likely in 2 years, is going to be a prostitute. And she's just 9 years old. She's exactly the same age I was when I started taking pictures. And we know that she will be a prostitute just in a few years, just because of because where and how she was born. And this is crazy, because she is only a kid. And I love Shanta. She's the perfect example of smiling to life, even if life doesn't smile you back. And we spent a lot of time together, and I was carrying her everywhere, and I was following her, she was following me everywhere. And if I have to choose the person that I am more attached to in one of my photographs, Shanta will be the one. This picture is hung on my room, and it's hung on my room because I want to see her every morning, and I don't want to forget about her situation. And this is why I want to finish the last part of my talk with her picture as well, because I also don't want you to forget her as an example of people that suffer in silence. And as you all may know by now, I am foreign, I am not from Spain, I am from Spain. I am from Barcelona, I am from Spain, and I decided to move to Edinburgh 8 years ago. And this was the most important and crucial decision of my life. I was not able to speak any English at all, so I became an observer and a listener. And I learned the essence of photography, listening and observing in silence. And I learned how to see photographs with our camera and focusing on people, on expressions, and on visual stories. And I realized that we need to have enough empathy with people around us. Just then, we will be able to make bigger changes in this world. Because at the end of the day, the photographs that you see on an exhibition or on a book are just the end result of everything that a photographer feels, fears, hopes, loves, hates, or sees during a long process. And what I share with you here is just my way of seeing the world and laughing and crying. And every picture is a reflection of my feelings in connection with other human beings. I learned how to explore myself in connection with other people. And learning that the most important thing is not the camera, it's the connection between us as human beings, between the photographer and the photographed, the heart behind the image. And I have realized that photography has a great power to inform people about the world and its issues and to inspire change. And I try to be as close as I can to the people physically and emotionally, because you never know how many lives you can change just by sharing your story. When I take a picture, I don't try to give an answer. I just want people to question themselves within the image. In the same way I question myself when I take that picture, because I just want people to question the world we live in. Thank you very much.